It is Sunday, October 23rd. Brr, brr, brr. Scorpio season. Welcome to the Zodiac Chat Line. I am your host, Tennah, and I have Cassie with me.
Hello, how goes it? Everything all right over there?
Not really, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're getting there. All right. So, sorry. Here we go.
It's all good. We're
I
making
love
it.
technology. It just makes me feel so young. So what's up, girl? Let's try this. How are you?
Just hanging in there this Scorpio season. Just such that it is. No, I'm okay. How are you?
You know what? I am enjoying this. I love, my eighth house energy. I love me some Scorpio season. Feel like it peels back all the layers. And, for those of us that are witchy, we talk about the thinness of the veil between the worlds, especially during Scorpio season. And so I'm really just excited to honor my ancestors again and just really embody what Scorpio season is all about, which is transformation and change, and just nothing can grow from something that isn't transformed.
Hello. Yep. Can't get new good things without destroying and breaking out of some old ones. So yeah, it's very fast. Scorpio season is, I'm with you. I love it. My water sign, deep water sign energy. I vibe with Scorpio season and Pisces season both. Scorpio season is more fun because I also just love spooky shit. And it's not that surprising when you're somebody who's tuned into the keys of this, the cues of the season or the rhythms of the season. But maybe if you weren't, I think it would be surprising to look across all these different cultures and time and space. And this time of year is significant to all of them as a time of connecting with spiritual energy, of honoring your dead. And I just don't think that's an accident. I think there is something to this time of year as being a little bit more magical. And I encourage y'all to, if you've never made an altar for your ancestors, just find some old photos of some people in your family that have passed on and put them on a windowsill and say hello. And I appreciate you being here, and don't be surprised if they turn up in your dreams.
Exactly. And I mean, for those of you that love Disney movies, if you haven't seen Coco, it was a very good, and that culture celebrates the Day of the Dead, but very good explanation of keeping the photos of your family alive in order to keep their spirit alive. And just like Cassie said, it spans cultures. And this is, we have transitioned out of Libra season, y'all. So whatever balance and peace and diplomacy we were looking for, Scorpio season is here to fuck that shit up. But in the best kind of way, because whatever balance or lessons we learned about partnerships and just a lot of different things during Libra season, Scorpio season is here to challenge that truth and transform it into something new. And so we have the sun that has moved into Scorpio today, as well as Venus, spicy Venus moving into Scorpio today. And then on the end of that, also the balance of that a little bit is Saturn going direct in Aquarius. And Saturn's been retrograde for a couple months now. So now all of those karmic lessons, all of those hard things, just in time for Scorpio season to release the veil and transform all of those lessons that we've learned while Saturn was retrograde. And then as this week continues, Mercury will go into Scorpio on Saturday. And so we will full-fledged have so much energy in Scorpio season. And then with the new moon partial solar eclipse on Tuesday, it's just going to be a very transformative week, I think, for everyone. And we're seeing this right now, just even within the world and in our country. We're right in the beginning, right in election season. We have an early voting right now, and we're just seeing a lot of transformation around our government, around information that we were receiving about what's happening. So hold on, guys. It's going to be a good week.
Yeah. So as Tennah mentioned, we had a lot happen today, right? Just literally today, the sun, Venus, both moved into Scorpio. Saturn went direct in Aquarius. Tuesday is our new moon partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. And then what do we got? Friday. Jupiter is moving into Pisces. We're retrograde because it's in Aries. It's going further backwards into Pisces. Saturday, Mercury moves into Scorpio. So another check mark in the old Scorpio season column. And then Sunday, Mars goes retrograde. So in Gemini. And with the return of eclipses here this Scorpio season, I encourage y'all to go back and think about what you were up to in late April and into May, because that was the last time we had eclipses. And you will probably see some more of those same themes emerging over the next 2 weeks. And don't be surprised if a project you started in April with some people is suddenly transformed into something different, or you find that something you were concerned about has the rug pulled out from under it. Now, eclipses are big energetic shifts. And our fixed sign friends, especially the Taurus and Scorpios, are going to be feeling this especially. But our Aquarius and Leo peeps are not exempt from it either. So a lot coming down the pike.
I mean, understatement, but absolutely. And as Cassie stated, eclipse season it's known to eclipse things out of your life. And it basically says, this isn't working anymore. It needs to be gone. And in Scorpio season, it is going to be possibly a rude awakening for a lot of people, especially if you are holding on and getting dragged. It's going to be, one of those gut punches, but always know that it's for your highest good. And on the other end of that transformation, you would still be stuck in the same direction that wasn't actually leading you to anywhere that you wanted to go. So let us know if you guys are in the chat. Let us know what you're looking forward to in Scorpio season. If there's anything that you are worried about, I guess, in Scorpio season. And then, we'll check back with you in a couple of weeks and see how things are going. But, I say stay in this watery time, stay as grounded as you can, because the North Node is in Taurus and the South Node is in Scorpio. And so the goal is to really focus on the material, concrete, very steady, planned, fixed energy of Earth, and not the wateriness of what has been.
Yeah. Do you do anything differently as far as like your new moon intention setting when a new moon falls on an eclipse?
I really try to be more patient, and I don't try to do too much, because the eclipse energy is already supercharged. They call it a supercharged moon. So it's already supercharged. So I don't need to supercharge my supercharge. I just try and go with the energy that feels the best in that moment, because as much as I would want to fight what is real that I really need to focus on, it's in my best interest to just go with it and be as all right as possible, not trying to do too much, because Scorpio season is doing too much already.
Yeah. There's no need for you to do too much during Scorpio season. Too much is going to be done upon you, through you, using you as a vessel. Just keep it low key. I think that's good advice. And I'm right there with you. I wait longer to set my intentions at the new moon if it's an eclipse. And it's usually have more water,
Right.
Small goals.
Yes, exactly. That's great for a water season. Yes, drink more water.
Right.
Stay hydrated and blessed. So you want to bring our friend on?
Yes. So to talk with us about the Scorpio season theme of transformation, we're inviting on my old friend Callie, who is an amazing spirit, who has undergone many transformations in life, and I can't wait to hear her talk about them with you all. She's a runner, She's a badass. And she's a Libra queen. Libra sun, Libra rising. What did we say? Leo moon.
Leo moon.
Super cute.
Can't forget that one.
That's right.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your Sunday to come hang out with us.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So tell, the peeps a little bit about yourself, whatever, you want them to know.
Yeah. So, I mean, currently I feel like I have two lives. One, I work in advertising as a creative, as a writer. And then on my other life, I am an ultra runner. So I spend a lot of time outside running for miles and hours and all kinds of terrain. So I grew up in the South. I became very unhealthy early on in life, went through this crazy weight loss journey. And now here I am running hundreds of miles and paying to do it. So you never know where you're going to end up.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? That's great. That's perfect little intro there.
Little elevator speech.
Yes.
So this is a great transition. So this month we're talking about transformation with Scorpio. And first question for you is, what is the most transformational moment in your life?
I'd probably have to say this one story that I like to tell people, and it's when I lived in Chicago, probably not long after I moved there, maybe like a month or two in. When I was probably at my unhealthiest and heaviest and least active in my life. And one of my friends invited me to go to brunch. And of course, I Googled it because I wanted to see what was on the menu. And they said that we were going to walk there. And I noticed that it was a mile away. And I was terrified because I knew there was no way that I'd be able to walk a mile to go to brunch. And I think that was like the biggest red flag for me. And that I knew I needed to make a change, and not just one change, but a lot of changes to my life if I wanted to go after all these big goals that I had, because I just moved to the big city and I wanted to just become this person that I've always dreamt of being. And it just felt like there was no way that I could be her if I continued down this route that I was going. And I think that was probably the biggest transformational moment where I was like, okay, this is changing now.
And so how did you enact that change? Like, what do you, because we get hung up, I think, on where we have to get, and sometimes it's so far. So how did you start?
Yeah, I think a lot of times when you're in that position, like the main goal, the big goal can sound so unattainable and so overwhelming and impossible. So I just started making these tiny little changes to build that positive momentum for not only like to be able to see changes physically, but also internally. And so I would make my lunch every day. And that was my first little change, learning how to make the right foods for myself and learning about foods and the value of different ingredients. So yeah, probably taking 2 to 3 weeks to make that one tiny change. And then my next change was doing that for dinner and then for breakfast and then snacks versus eating 3 to 4 meals a day. Most of them being takeout or fast food. And just really learning the importance and the value of food. And the more it became part of my everyday and every like moment of my life, and just making that something that was so normal versus abnormal in what I would do every day. I think that was probably the best way that I was able to make small changes to then get to the big change.
Sure.
So how does running get to this big change?
I think once, because I was so afraid to run and I was so afraid for people to see me running or what I would have considered a running form. So I didn't start exercising or running until I felt very confident in the fact that I was on this path and there was no way I was gonna like go off path or off course. It's like I was going from point A to point B somehow or another. And so it was probably maybe like 4 to 6 months after I started making the changes that I decided to go to get a gym membership, and only doing maybe like a little bit on the elliptical, a little bit on the Stairmaster, and then I'd get out of there. And then once I started making more changes, I started thinking maybe I can actually run, because I hated running my entire life as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult. Like that's why when I was younger, I got into rowing. I actually was almost going to go to college to be a rower because it required the least amount of running. You're in a boat.
Bet.
I was like, no, I don't have to run. I'm going to be in this boat. And I get my exercise in there. And then I don't know, one day I decided if I can conquer this thing called running, then I can conquer anything that I set out to do. And so running became this like challenge for myself that I just had to go after, even if it meant like just completing a run around the block without stopping. And once I did that, then I grew my block, and it became a mile, it became 2 miles, it became 4 miles. And so I just kept building momentum and how far I could go, not really how fast I could go, but just how far I could go and just see like, where can my 2 feet take me? And of course, it just kept snowballing into like doing my own little half marathon around Chicago. And then one day I was like, I'm going to do the Chicago Marathon as my first race. And I did it, and it was terrifying and it hurt, but I did it. And then that just kept going into this like kind of double or nothing theme of like a 50 miler and then a 100 miler. And then I realized that you can do 200 milers. And so I just finished my 240 miler 11 days ago. And now here we are.
I have run, no doubt, cumulatively in my life, 20 miles or less. Like, there's no way.
Hey, that's something.
But so
Sounds like a road trip to me. Like, I could drive
it's
200
incredible though. Like what? Wow. I mean, that's a testament to the power of time plus incremental change equals look what the fuck I can do.
And I mean, it like doing that race, the 240 miler, the time it took to get from point A to point B in my mind took as long as it took to lose 0 pounds to 200 pounds. It took forever to do this thing, but it was the same mindset. You just keep putting one step in front of the other, and eventually you're going to get there. It might take eternity in your brain, and you're going to have a crazy adventure along the way, but you'll get there one day.
I mean, that's amazing. And, I can't imagine all that you've seen in running 200 miles, like the scenery and just like the experiences and the camaraderie. Have you met other people who had like a similar transformation with running?
I swear to God, like the farther I go in these ultra marathons, the more I meet people who have been in my same shoes, whether it was like beating addiction or beating like childhood trauma or overcoming something. They've almost just like put that energy into running versus that other thing. Like there's still that same person within, but you're just finding another way to, I guess, funnel that energy into something that you can feel good about, that, I don't know, just like enlivens you in some way or gives you some sort of purpose, whatever that may be. I don't know. It's funny or interesting to see these people out there who are very similar to me or have undergone similar stories as mine. It's very interesting.
Do you think, have you given any thought to what about running does that? Because like I've never heard people say that about like swimming. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not that swimming's not great exercise. You couldn't,
right.
You could for sure, but like I have heard that other people, not just yourself, say that about running. And so I just wonder what about running in particular lends itself to this maybe a bit of an obsessive mindset, or I'm not sure, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
I did at one point and I couldn't really uncover the reason. So I just like left that thought, but once you can't get there, like, yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
But, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because like it's such, and this is going to sound like so weird and dumb and whatever, but I don't know if it's because running is so like primal to your body that it's something that like, I don't know, makes you like more in touch with yourself. But like you're so much more, when I'm like running, especially if I'm like at a distance like that, I feel so much more connected to every part of my body because I'm feeling all the hurt in every part of my body. I don't know what it is.
Sure.
But maybe that's like, I don't know. It's very interesting. And I would love to read a study on it because it is very fascinating how these type of people or someone who's gone through that trauma or that addiction or whatever find running and that becomes their thing.
And running
Yeah.
is the one thing you can control because it's
Oh, yeah.
your body, it's your feet, overcoming all those other things, which like you could control to a certain extent, but it seemed like there was outside factors, whether it be addiction or like bad food habits, or you know what I mean? This is running like you have control over how far your 2 feet go, like you said. Like
Yeah.
that's what's on your playlist when you're running?
Ooh. Lately, I haven't been listening to anything. Like, if you would have said I'd be this person today, like 5 years ago, hell no. Because I would always listen to music, and it would always be like house music. I love listening to house music because it just feels like there's a party in my head. And I feel like in life I could be at a party for days. So that makes me feel like I could be running for days if I needed to be. But nowadays, like, and I think maybe it's more because of like a safety thing. I don't listen to music when I'm out running because, one, if I'm on the street, shit happens out there. If you're on a trail, there's animals out there. Oh, lately I haven't been, and it's also been just kind of nice to like hear just nature around, just like hearing any kind of ruffling or hearing the wind or hearing whatever. But I mean, if I'm on a treadmill indoors, hell yes, I'm listening to music.
Okay.
Very
That's
loud.
that's gonna be so like that's gonna be so connecting with the earth, like to be able to hear everything and then like hear your feet every time they land like in a certain rhythm and the cadence, and just like your breath goes after you're going for so long, and
Exactly.
that's got to be really cathartic and like cleansing.
Oh, 100%. I would say I see running a lot as my meditation time. It's my time by myself. It's my time when I don't have to answer an email. I don't have to answer someone's message. I don't have to take a phone call. I can just focus on this one thing I have to do and just feel every part of my body and cleanse whatever I'm thinking and just be out there, no responsibilities, just going.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's lacking in some of our lives.
I'm like just the thought of running, I'm like, ooh, am I being chased? Is this a basketball game? What's happening?
Why are we doing this?
Like, I just don't know. And I'm flat-footed, so I feel like running is also a very like different for me, but I bet you could recommend some good running shoes for flat-footed people and it wouldn't be so bad.
There's so many out there, because I would say, I don't know if it's because the more I run, but my feet are just getting flatter. But there's so many shoes out there that can support whatever foot. But I would say for anyone who's like interested in running, they're terrified of it, just go so slow that it's almost too slow. And then
you're basically walking.
It's like a walk jog.
Walking, but you just got a little pep in your step, I guess.
like the old ladies used to do around the
That's amazing.
But
okay, so as we talk about Scorpio season and transformation, we also talk about how Scorpio is also synonymous with the tarot card, the death card. And so many people get so nervous when they hear that. But I believe my and Cassie's understanding of the death card is just an ending of something that can no longer continue. It's not necessarily a literal death. It's just very much like, this isn't working. It's dead. Let's try something new. And with that comes the birth of something new. So I would like to know, how was the chance for rebirth inspired you?
Callie, are you frozen?
Yeah. Hello?
Oh, there you are.
Did you hear my question?
no.
Okay.
You froze on the perfectly like contemplative look. Like you were just like you were just very seriously considering the question. And
Maybe
like
she is thinking.
20 seconds later, we're like, are you there? That was incredible.
Technology. Okay. So how has the chance for rebirth inspired you?
Oh man. I think it's just opened my mind up to what is possible for myself, because I lived so long living this life where I had so many impossible, just I guess, or maybe more limitations in life, where I felt like I was roadblocked by my own self. And nowadays it's like, I don't want to set any roadblocks for myself. I don't want to limit my own self. I want to be able to empower my mind, my body to go after whatever I want to go after, whether it's a goal like in my career or if it's a goal running wise. I think just knowing like where I was and how I have like reborn into this new person. I think just knowing who I was back then inspires me to be the person I am today.
What would you say to the person back then in order to reassure her that she would be this person today?
I actually had this conversation with someone, what was it, like last night or the night before? And I would just say, believe. Like the best way and the only way and the first way to start anything you want to go after is just believe in yourself. Because if you don't truly believe that you have what it takes to do this thing that you want to do, whether it be this small goal or just impossibly huge, overwhelming goal, you have to start with believing that you can do it.
Amen. Is that Eleanor Roosevelt, I think, who was quoted as, whether you believe you can or not, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
yeah. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Touche, Eleanor.
Yeah. You got me.
Have you had moments in your life where you felt like your transformation inspired transformation in others or in maybe in other aspects of your life?
I think it has inspired me, or at least maybe in my career, in that, I don't know, there was something else that happened along the way where I just kind of realized that, like, oh shit, we really do have a limited time on this planet. And I really do have these things that I want to do. And right now I work in advertising and I love working in advertising, but it's like, do I want to use this skill that I've learned in advertising to do something else, or to use it to, I don't know, maybe just be a better or a different kind of creative in advertising? I think there's just so much time we have left, and I want to make sure that I'm using all of it in the best way, how living my happiest life, and just not limiting myself in that way too. So I don't know.
I like that. That's another kind of Tennah, to your point, that running is so like, yeah, you're so in tune with every in like the present moment that, like, you know, like you said, Callie, you just realize, like, well, shit, man, I'm not gonna. Life isn't infinite present moments. It's like, what am I?
I only get a few of these.
Right, right, yeah, finite. I do. For me, like, when it comes to transformation, Cassie and I have both undergone plenty of transformational deaths. And for me, a transformational moment was when my mother passed away when I was 19, because that set me on a totally different timeline of being raised without having a mom, you know what I mean? And at a young age, and just learning how to, like you said, believe in myself and know that I'm the only one setting my own roadblocks and moving forward, and just learning, like, that moment happened in order for me to transform into this person. So
yeah, it's crazy how like a close family death can do so much for you. It can just like completely open your eyes, change you, make you understand like what's important. Like you said, put you on a whole different timeline.
Yeah, it's a terrible it's a terribly difficult type of lesson to learn. Scorpio season gives us a lot of those. I mean, we're talking about like ancestral trauma, you know, inherited. Oh,
let me tell you, my Native American roots.
Well, yes, right. And so, you know, to that end, like, do you have any ways that you honor your ancestors or get in touch with your deeper ancestral roots?
I would say the deepest thing I do is I'm connected with this community online called Native Women Running, and just like talking to these women and supporting each other and their goals, and them kind of supporting my goals. It just like, it helps to know that we're all out there and we're all crazy doing these races. But it's all like such this ingrained sport within all of us, because and the native culture, like you run before sunrise and you run to the east to greet the sun every morning. Like that's just born and ingrained into this culture. And that's something that I love to do still to this day, is trying to get up every morning as early as I can these days before the sun and running in that direction to greet the sun every day, and kind of had this like just little moment where you're just like thankful and grateful for the day that started. So
wow. That like,
I know, that touched me.
that's so beautiful. I like, and yeah, to think that, you know, there could, I'm like, you know me, we've known each other a long time. I believe everything is connected. I think we just don't have the capacity of like tracing those connections. There's so much interaction, so many things that happen in a given day that it's like, how could you ever follow the path?
Oh,
right.
yeah.
But like, so maybe some part of your soul inherited that innate, you know what I mean? That spark. So that's just, oh, what a lovely thing to find at this point in your life, you know? And I'm sure, kind of, you know, like we were talking about on our pre-call, just being able to connect with other women who are in this sport and, you know, I don't know, empower each other and also help keep each other safe and look out for each other. So that's wonderful.
Is there anything you want the people to know about you, where they can find you and such? Or no?
Like what else I could share? But I mean,
social security.
If somebody wanted to get into, the, did you call it ultra running?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wanted to get into ultra running, where would they start?
I mean, there's a handful of networks you can tap into. Like there's Ultra Running Magazine, which is a great place to start. And I am an ambassador for them, whatever that means. And they're a great company.
We knew you had plugs to make, girl.
I know. I don't. I don't.
But please plug whatever you want. It's your time, baby.
Ultra Running Magazine is great in that, I mean, you can find all these other different people who are doing all these other crazy goals, whether it be a race or something they created on their own. Also, you can find different races there or training plans in there. But I would say just Google ultra running. Like it's become so much more common than it used to be maybe 3-5 years ago. Like it's become a much bigger thing because people have learned that they can do a marathon. And then I feel like maybe ever since the pandemic, people are realizing like, maybe I have more to me than I thought I did. And so ultra running has become this thing where you can kind of push yourself and learn a lot about yourself in these races or the distances. But with that said, you can find me on Instagram at California. So Callie_Fornia. And that's probably the most active place I'm at, but
she's a good follow, y'all.
Thank you. You said what?
I try and keep it interesting.
And I'm sure your followers enjoy. I did take a sneak peek and stalked you just a little bit to see all the beautiful pictures and scenery that you have. So thank you so much. God bless anybody who's willing to run more than 100 miles or 50 miles. You know, props on you. You were built better than me. But thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So wonderful to talk to you.
Me too.
See you soon.
Stay safe and well this Scorpio season.
You guys
We're gonna get through it together, y'all. We're better together. Oh
yes, I know, right? Oh, girl, that was so inspiring.
I know.
I'm almost like, I might need to try, like, greeting the sun. That was I was like, I need to focus on some real getting absorbed with the sun and the earth again. And the Leo moon says I'm running towards the sun, right?
Yes. Yep. Show enough.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I don't even look out my window half the time when I wake up. So
she was like, before the sun, I was like, girl, I'll be asleep.
Oh.
All right, so we're gonna chat real quick about a little bit of tarot. a little bit of death card energy because it is Scorpio season. And Cassie and I are the type of witches that love tarot cards. So,
True.
I have selected from 2 separate decks just to show just the different depictions of the death card. The death card is number 13 in the deck. It comes after the Hangman, but before Temperance. And the death card is represented as a Scorpio card. And as we said earlier, yes, it does say death on there, but it does not signify always a literal death. It is just the death to something that no longer serves your highest good. So in the original Rider-Waite, we have the death card that looks like this. So we have the soldier, the knight on top of the white horse and the flag. And you can see there are people around, but it has been said that the knight on the horse is your higher self. And your higher self is coming in to put an end to whatever your ego has decided is important. And then the other one is from the Light Seers Tarot. And I love this because, first of all of their cards, if you ever are gorgeous. Oops, it worked earlier today. And then
there you go.
Yeah. But what I love about this card is that it says death, infinity, rebirth. And that is the beautiful thing about death, is that it always leaves you open for rebirth. And as you can see, it looks like kind of a red cloak over the Grim Reaper, but inside there's just so much vastness with the trees and a new beginning on the horizon. Ziggy, welcome.
Out of this live television feed, Ziggy. Oh my gosh.
The people love animals. Ziggy, welcome.
No, he's a hot mess. I love both of those. I mean, the artwork for the Rider-Waite is so iconic and classic. And I love the golden city in the background, alluding to that idea of rebirth, that there is past this trail of sort of misery and destruction, we're leading to something better. You know, our higher self is going to lead you through the mess and to where you need to be. And I think both of those cards depict the concept of death and rebirth really well. But we're so trained in our present time and the society that we live in here in the United States anyway, to look at our life as a line, and the death is one end and you just fall off and disappear forever. Where many other cultures and many other times have seen what I think is much more accurate, that life is something more like a circle. And when you get back to the beginning, maybe you loop down here or maybe you loop through, but things are never ending truly.
Linear,
they're always,
right.
They're always flipping around and into something else. When I'm interested in the I Ching. I don't know a ton about it, but I've done some reading on it. And one concept I found really fascinating when learning about the I Ching was that in Eastern philosophy, they believe that everything is always in the process of flowing into its opposite. And I think that the death card reflects that too. Like there's, when that pops up in a tarot reading, depending on its placement, you can see that something is going to be shifted on its axis completely. The way it's going now is done. And whatever's coming next is going to be very different. But as Tennah said, always for your highest good.
Yeah, it's a wrap on that. And I would encourage everybody to we love you, Ziggy. Girl, I love it. It's okay. It's Scorpio season. Ziggy's feeling spicy. So y'all know this is live. No edits.
Lest you thought we were faking it.
Right. We are regular people. No AIs here. Real life. But the beautiful thing about death is that it always brings a new beginning. And the best part about that is that you may not have been in control of the ending or the death, even though I feel like for a lot of us, and I'll just speak for myself, I knew it was coming. I just was resisting it. And after a while, the more you resist something, it's bound to happen no matter what you do. It's just easier to just acknowledge it. And I don't think it's meant to feel good. It is meant to hurt, because those are the times that you stop doing something, when you're like, shit, that really burned. That didn't feel so good. It's worse than ripping a Band-Aid off. It's like a bucket. My friend and I used to say, like, it's a bucket of ice in the face. That shit sounds like that hurts, but it gives you a good wake-up call. And the greatest part about a new beginning is you get to choose what that looks like. You get to make a different choice in order to move forward from where you were, because it wasn't working and you were probably miserable anyway.
It's true. It's true. As we progress into this Scorpio season, just based on the astrology that is coming along with it, there's going to be a lot of those things that you've resisted. You're going to face them. They're coming through. Like, you just, and hopefully, all of our chat line peeps, we love you guys. We know you're in touch with yourself and your intuition, and continue to do that, because your intuition is your best friend. Any water sign transit, and possibly Scorpio season even more. And just, when you feel that familiar resistance and desire to control things you can't, just let yourself let go of all that, baby, because
you're only hurting yourself.
Yeah.
like it's really, it doesn't benefit you, because it's going to get snatched away anyway.
It's true.
All right, you want to hop into this question?
Yes, let's do it.
Go for it.
Got a real cute question on TikTok.
Yes, we love our TikTok peeps. What up?
Love the talk. We do it all for the talk and the gram and the tube. If you're not following us on TikTok, you can find us at Zodiac Chatline, just like you can on IG. We're having fun over there, guys. Okay, so Coney Island Siren, which love that
name.
Iconic. Can you tell me what to expect with a Saturn first house transit? It's been in my 12th house forever.
So, a couple things came to mind with this. One is when we had our Capricorn guest who had all of that Saturn Capricorn energy in their first house. And what this tells me for first house transits is either you're hitting your Saturn return for 29, or you are about to learn a ton of lessons about who you are and how you're presented to the world. And they're going to be difficult lessons, quite frankly, because Saturn isn't trying. Jupiter's here to like boost you up. Saturn ain't trying to do that. Saturn is like, let me smack you down and humble you and make sure you understand why and what lessons you need to learn in order to grow. At the end of your Saturn transit, you'll feel like a whole different person, and you'll know why all of those things happen. But it will definitely be a very challenging time, and I encourage you to be open to the lessons.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think Saturn in the 12th house is difficult in its own way, for sure, because that's a lot of internal work that you're being asked to do. And, it's kind of like examining, or finding your inner dreams clashing with the demands of the outside world, right? That's kind of Saturn 12th house transit, is trying to impose rules on your most dreamy, least, sort of structured self, right? And that jump from 12th to first house is so fascinating, because you go from this very ethereal realm to your literal body, right? And I would be truly mindful of your body, like take care, watch for any strains, injuries, like if anything that you are drawn to, or watch out for hobbies and habits that could cause you physical injury. Make sure you're just taking extra precautions, right? Saturn is big on pointing out where you're being frivolous by causing an issue. So take care of your physical safety, wear your bike helmet, wear your seatbelt, do all that stuff.
Stretch.
Stretch, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're an ultra runner like Callie, make sure you're sticking to a reasonable training regimen and not just throwing, yourself out there trying to run 40 miles a day when you've never done that before. Like Saturn in the first house is begging you to take more time with your body. Be
and
mindful.
grow up.
Also that.
Yeah,
also
it really
that.
is. It's but
it's again in a good way.
It's a great, that's what I was about to say. Wait, but in a way that like is necessary. And again, like I said, at the end of this transit, like because it'll then transit obviously to your second house, which is your earned income, like, ruled by Taurus. And so that's a lucrative, So if you gather all the lessons in the first house and you learn them, the rest of that transition is just going to be a lot easier. But just be prepared to be challenged in the best kind of way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we love y'all so much. As Cassie said, you can always find us on the TikTok, the Instagram, and the YouTube. We'll be back in a couple weeks for a full moon in Taurus with a special guest. And before that, we just want if you have any questions, if you want to be on the show, anything like that, please feel free to email us at thezodiacchatline.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that like and share button, because that's what everybody says, because they want it to circulate. So that's what I'm going to say. But before we get out of here, you guys know we love to pull some more cards. So don't think that the death card convo was about it. No. We are now coming with the what? Moonology, oracle cards and guidebook. So let us see what the collective wants to what we're going to talk about. I like these decks. This is by Yasmin Boland. She also has another Moonology oracle deck, but I love it. Pretty. They have all the full moons, some North Node, I think, is in here, which be interesting what we pulled. Let's see. Here we go. Ooh. Watery energy. We have the new moon in Pisces. Meditate and contemplate. Sorry, I know the lighting is a little wonk.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, let's find out what they said about this. Watery energy, guys. So as Cassie said, let your intuition be your guide.
Watery and new moon energy. I like it. Moonology coming through.
Don't they always, girl? Every time. Okay, let's see. This card speaks of dreams and romance, of soulmates and poetry. It suggests there's a new start coming your way that's connected to a matter that leaves you feeling somewhere between having your head in the clouds and being in a totally altered state. There could be confusion and disappointment if that's what you've had before and that's what you're expecting. However, if you're onto a good thing, then wish hard, because the words of your soul and your heart could help bring about the manifestation of your dreams. If that all sounds a little wet and watery, then that's Pisces for you. This is the last sign of the zodiac, and the new moon in Pisces card can suggest a last-ditch chance to make your dreams come true. Additional meaning for this card is face your fears. They may be holding you back. The situation is being healed. It is time to surrender to the divine and avoid being deceptive or willingly deceived.
Ooh.
Again, all very nice during water season and Scorpio season. Like I said, face your fears. Scorpio will make sure those fears.
Oh, yeah.
The teaching. Pisces is the sign of reveries and mysteries, or depths of emotion, idealism, and hopeless romantics. It is the sign of water and the unconscious. Its energy is deep like watery depths. The new moon in Pisces indicates a time to listen to your feelings and to allow your emotions free rein. Whatever you're feeling as you pull this card is more likely than the truth, unless you've been kidding yourself somehow, and only you know if that's the case or not. Every time, guys. Check it out. There we go. Meditate and contemplate. So, like Cassie and I said earlier, we do have the new moon on Tuesday in Scorpio. And I think we both are going to take some extra time to contemplate and take the time before we set our intentions. And again, not do too much, because this week is full of that spicy energy. It's like Libra season was like, it's so cool, man. And then we come to Scorpio season. Scorpio's like, hold my, what is it? Is it a scythe? How do you say it? The Sith? Yeah, hold my scythe. And here comes Scorpio season. Fucking shit up. But
oh, that's real.
Anyways, Cassie, I love you, girl. I could never and would never want to do this without you. Coral, shout out to you as always. We love you. You always keep us so fancy with the graphics and just giving us that spark that we always need. So we love you. Shout out to you, sister girl. We will see you guys on November the 6th, Sunday. And we'll let you know the time because it could change. But thank you guys.
We'll be here though.
Yeah, we'll be here. Find us on all the things. As always, y'all, it's all love.